The Hyundai i20 is quite famous in its segment, and now Hyundai is presenting the brand new version of this small car. And today I'm going to have a closer look what has changed regarding to driver assistance, safety systems, comfort, space, range, engines, infotainment and all the other interesting bits and pieces. Talking about the craftsmanship and the materials inside of the i20, I have to say for a small car that's absolutely fine. Of course we do find plastic nearly everywhere. We have a small part of soft touch here at the door handle, but that's it. But as said, for a small car, this is nothing unusual. The problem is it's all black and black, which I do like, but I'm not quite sure how this plastic stuff will look like in about 5-10 years. But maybe we just have to wait. What I really do like is we have this kind of bars here at the front of the dashboard, and you do find the same look at the air outtakes, and this gives the car a bit of a, like a wrap around the driver and co-driver, because you do find the same down here as well. So this is something which you really find everywhere in the car, which I really like a lot. Another thing which I do absolutely find fantastic is we find lime stitching and lime elements here at the air outtakes and the climate control, as well as the lime stitchings on the seats. And that really makes the car, the interior, look special. And this is the so-called lime package. But unfortunately, I can't find it in the German price list, and so I think maybe they will not offer that package for the German market. The new i20 is 1.78 meters in width, and that's 3 centimeters more than with the predecessor, and so the car looks a bit more stronger from the front. Important to note that car comes as standard with halogen headlamps, but you can order full LED headlamps for about 750 euros from the trim level trend onwards. If you buy the top trim level, you're going to get that package for free. And when you look at the front, this is typical for the new Hyundai models. We have this massive air intake here at the grille with a typical structure for Hyundai and the big Hyundai logo. And what I really do like is the bottom part of the front bumper, because that's quite sharp and quite crisp, and that really puts the car very solidly and sporty on the road. You can buy the base model of the i20 for a little bit less than 14,000 euros in Germany. But the equipment level is, I would say, quite poor. So I would say the electric windows are one of the highlights of this trim level. But if you put another 2,500 euros in the account, you get the next one, which is called Select, and then you do find things like digital radio or climate control already. But of course you can have a lot more. I mean, if you buy the top trim level, which is the one we're driving, Prime, then you do find a car which is completely equipped. So you do really find everything you may want to ask for, like a full digital cockpit or a 10-inch touchscreen for the infotainment. But of course you can put some extras on top as well. But I would say if you buy Pure, that's not enough. But if you buy Prime, you would be absolutely happy.
If you look at the competitors, the price of the i20 is in the middle of the field. For example, a 75 horsepower Ford Fiesta starts from around 13,000 euros. And a Volkswagen Polo with a 1-liter 3-cylinder and 80 horsepower costs from just under 15,000. Those who prefer to drive Opel can spend around 14,000 euros on a 75 horsepower Corsa.
The new i20 is now 4 meters and 4 in length, and that's very much the same as with the predecessor. It's only 5 millimeters more. Talking about the wheelbase, that has grown by 1 centimeter to now 2 meters 58. Regarding to the height, a little bit more has happened, because the car is now about 2.5 centimeters flatter than its predecessor, with now 1 meter 45. We talk about the design of the car at the side. There's not so much to explore. The only important line, I think, is that one here that runs from the front over the doors to the rear of the car, and that is something that gives a bit of pressure to the shoulders and make the car look quite solidly on the road. You can order up to 17-inch alloys for your i20. That's the one we have on our car, but unfortunately they're not standard, because the standard the car comes with only 15-inch steel wheels. But if you pay extra, or if you buy the top trim level, you're going to have the 17 on board. Something I really do like is this chrome element here, because that runs to the end of the car and then goes up here. And this is, I think, something quite unique, so I really do like this. But my real eye catcher is the lid of the tank, which is on the other side, but this one is fitted exactly here in the corner of the taillight, and this is something where I would say that's absolutely unique. The i20 comes, regarding to the driver assistance safety systems, quite well equipped, because the base model already features traffic sign recognition, a multi-collision brake system, an emergency brake, a lane assist, and so on and so on. But the other good news is, if you want really to make the car your car, make it extremely safe and extremely comfortable, there are loads of options you can buy for your car, and some of them you will not find in cars of that class at other manufacturers. So that's, I think, a very good news. You have to pay extra, but on the other hand, you can get the car the way you want, and you can make it extremely comfortable and extremely safe as well. At the rear of our i20, we do find these LED taillights here. Important to know, they do not come as standard with the i20. They are part of the options list as the headlamps at the front are. But we're driving the trim level called Prime, and with this trim level, they are always on board. And the taillights are connected with this reflector here, and that is something that puts extra width into the car. While being here at the rear, looking at the lid, we talked about it already, and this really is very nice how it's integrated into the taillight here. What I really do like with the rear of this small car is we have not only this diffuser here to give the car some sportiness, we also have very nicely shaped shoulders with the car. And when you see the shoulders and then the tires, that really makes the car look extremely solid from the rear. So something that looks a lot more sporty than I did expected it from the new i20. From the trim level trend onwards, the i20 is featuring a 10.25-inch full digital cockpit and an 8-inch touchscreen for the infotainment. And looking at the full digital cockpit, you can't really configure it the way you want. There is a button at the steering wheel which you can press to choose what you want to see between the speed meter and the rev meter, and you can choose between driver assistance safety system information, traffic information or drive information, and information regarding to the sat-nav. But the rest you can't control or change. But the car also features different drive modes. And if you change, for instance, from Eco to Comfort, the whole display changes, because now the rev meter and the speed meter is white. And if you then again press the button, it changes into Sport, and the car not only gets more crisp then, also the look of the cockpit changes, because now it looks like a mix out of red and carbon fiber. When the new Hyundai i20 hits the market, there will be 4 different powertrains available for the car. The first one is an engine we already know, which is a 1.2-litre petrol, and that delivers 84 horsepower. Then there will be a 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine that delivers 100 horsepower. And then there will be a new one, a plug-in, which with a 48-volt system on board, and that delivers either 100 or 120 horsepower, and that is a 3-cylinder 1-litre engine as well. And if you say that's not enough power for you, you're lucky, because Hyundai already announced that there will be an i20N, and that then delivers out of a 1.6-litre engine more than 200 horsepower. My test car is featuring the 100 horsepower 3-cylinder petrol engine and the one with a 48-volt system, which means we talk about the hybrid. And that means the car not only features 100 horsepower or 74 kilowatts, it also features 172 newton meters of maximum torque. And that is combined here with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and the car is powering the front wheels. And that really works well in that car. So you can really easy cruise with the i20, or if you want, you can drive a bit more sporty so you can have some fun driving it. But what I really do like is with the transmission, that it's changing gears quite easy, quite smooth, so it's very enjoyable to drive that car. And Hyundai is saying that that car should take less than 5 liters per 100 kilometer driven. And that's a number we didn't reach during our test drive. But the reason for that is I drove about 50 kilometers of my drive today on the motorway with a speed of 130, 140. And so my average consumption at the moment is more between 6.5 up to 7. But I think still fine. But important to know is, while driving on the motorway with that speed, I found out that this car, for a small car, is very, very quiet. So it's absolutely a pleasure, even on higher speeds, to drive the i20. The new i20 features a maximum boot capacity of 352 liters with the rear seats up. If you fold this rear bench down, that increases up to 1,165 liters. Important to know is, if you drive the hybrid like we do, you will have about 90 liters less in both configurations. And there are 2 highlights here at the boot as well. One is this shelf, because I can just store it behind that bench easily, something I really do like a lot. And then when you open the flexible floor here, you normally find loads of extra space down here, but if you drive the hybrid, you can just have a perfect look at the battery.
With 351 liters, the Volkswagen Polo only offers 1 liter less space than the i20 with the rear seats up. The Ford Fiesta has a disadvantage here with 292 liters, just like the Opel Corsa with its 309. With the rear seats folded down, the Volkswagen comes closest to the Hyundai i20 with up to 1,125 liters. The Ford delivers up to 1093 and the Opel a maximum of 1081.
The amount of compartments and their size is absolutely fine for a small car. So the car features standard compartments in the doors with space for big bottles. In the center console you do find 2 cup holders, and under the armrest a small compartment. And there's another compartment in front of the gear shifter which also features the optional wireless charging. And of course you do find a standard glove box, and on the rear bench compartments in the doors as well. The space the car offers here at the front seats is very, very nice for a small car. As you see, I'm nearly 2 meters tall and I do really sit absolutely comfortable. I have head space left, I have space around my shoulders, I can adjust the steering the way I want. So that's really a comfortable space, and we're talking about a small car. If I can sit behind me, we're going to try that while having a short stop. I'm always a fan of the phrase, better fail than never try. And so I'm going to try to sit behind me. So 1.95 meters, quite heavy behind 1.95 meters. Let's see if that works in a small car, but I can get in. Yeah, it's a bit little problem with the headrest, the headspace, so I can't sit upright. As you see in front of my knees, there is not really space left, but I can put my knees left and right next to the front seat, which works. And I think for a short trip, that should work. And as said, I'm not the standard person. The suspension and the steering of the i20 works very well. The car is not nervous, it's easy to control, and the suspension is smooth and easy, and it is stiff enough to give you some sportiness. So I think a very nice package, and you always have the feeling of having the car under perfect control. And I can tell you that the suspension do not have any problems with the net weight of the car, which is a little less than 1200 kilograms. That really works absolutely well, and as said, you can cruise and you can drive a bit more sporty. Both works fine. That was my test drive in the brand new Hyundai i20. What I really like with the car is it's quite easy to configure because you only have 4 different trim levels, and pricing really is easy with that car. On top of it, for a small vehicle, it really features loads of space, loads of comfort, the newest driver assistance safety system, modern infotainment, and a modern range of powertrains. And on top of this, you can buy that car for less than 14,000 euros in Germany. I think that's quite a nice entrance price.